All right, everyone. I'm still dying, but that's all right. I didn't put the banner up on the bottom there because this is Tim's New York Giants Strike Talk brought to you by the mighty FanDuel. It's FanDuel.com. Right now, of course, if you're following the Olympics in the gold medal round, I think it's the gold medal round. It's United States 1, Canada 1. I like hockey, but I don't know. I have no interest in watching this hockey. I don't know why. I'm just gonna say it right now. I have no interest, but I am interested in, of course, in the New York Football Giants. Registering a lot of things here. I got for people that are saying that it's not posting on Twitter. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Hold on, let me go to live, and then let me go to this thing here, and it says post this. Okay, well, that's the only thing I can do to get it to work, guys. And I don't know why it's not working. So I apologize for all the people trying to watch on Twitter that can't follow us on Twitter. So you know what you need to do? You just need to come over here to YouTube. Talked about Sonny Styles a little bit yesterday. On Friday before I couldn't talk anymore. I was so bad on Friday. I probably should not have even been on the mic, but I did jump on the mic. We talked about Sonny Styles potentially with the Giants at 5. And I'm still kind of there with that. I'm still kind of there with Sonny Styles at 5. And we went through the scouting report. And it was the venerable Mike Lee, who's right here in the chat, who says, because it's professionals playing, it is the U.S. wins. It won't be the same as Miracle on Ice. No, it's not like the 80 team. That's why I really don't fucking care. But Mike Lee sent me an email, and he talked, and he said, does Sonny Styles remind you of Carl Banks? And I had to think about that for a minute. I really did. I had to think about that because I was there when the what's up, Mister? What's up, Lester, my brother? I was there when the Giants draft. I wasn't there, but I was a Giant fan when the Giants drafted Carl Banks. And it's one of those things when I was looking at that and looking at and listening to it, I'm like, yeah, that's not a terrible thing to think about. If they are very similar players. I like Joe Ferry says, what does Joe Ferry say right off the bat? Next, Carl Banks. You mean he's going to hold out all the time and go to the Redskins and sell starter jackets? Hey-oh. He didn't hold out all the time. You're probably thinking more of Lawrence Taylor held out all the time. Carl Banks did not hold out all the time. He did hold out, but he didn't hold out all the time. And wouldn't you hold out if you wanted more money? I mean, I would definitely hold out if I was looking for more cash. And yes, I can't fault him for going to Washington. Honestly, because of the fact that he just went to Washington because he had to go to Washington because the Giants didn't want him. But I was perusing the archives here at the online Big Blue Casa, and I actually went back to Carl Banks's draft, and that's the worst part. I went back to Carl Banks's draft, and I found some scouting reports and articles on Carl Banks. And I thought it was funny that when you look at some of these things, his draft profile coming out of 84, outside linebacker. He also played defensive end, 6'4", 235. Of course, he was taking Giants third overall. The strengths, when you look at Carl Banks and you look at what Sonny Styles is, it's eerily similar. They said that Carl Banks was a smash mouth football player. Viewed as a rare blend, now like I said, these are actual parts of scouting reports. Rare blend of size, speed, and physical presence. Prototypical size and length. Tall, long-arm defender, ideal for setting the edge. Explosive first step and closing speed, sideline to sideline players. Plays multiple linebacker roles, projected as a perfect 3-4 outside linebacker. Physical at the point of attack, strong edge setter, and had been evaluated against top competition in the Big Ten. Plays with aggression and consistency. That's some of his actual physical scouting reports, Carl Banks. And listen, it took a while to find this shit, because if anyone's been to my house and anyone has seen my office, yeah, you're lucky I can find the fucking computer. But that was Carl Banks in 1984. One of these areas of Refinement was the fact that he relies more on athleticism in reference to his pass rush ability. This was Carl Banks, and needs to develop moves. Who does that sound like already? Oh, we got Big James in the house. I had to call in. I had to call in the cavalry because I didn't know if I was going to be able. I didn't know if I was going to make it through the entire stream. So I raised the Jolly Roger, the pirate flag, and I called in the Venerable James William. Well, you can see it in the background.
Oh, that's right.
You can see it in the background. So we did that. We're talking about Carl Banks, James, and I'm talking about the eerie similarities between him and Sonny Styles. Now, let me just finish here a little bit here, because I'm actually reading some of Carl Banks's scouting reports from 1984. So, areas of concern where relies on athleticism, needs to develop a more refined pass rushing moves. You are an Ohio State fan. I think that kind of sums up Sonny Styles a little bit. Coverage development, solid, but not viewed as a natural coverage zone linebacker. Now, if I recall properly, one of the biggest scouting report issues that we had on Sonny was the fact that a man-to-man guy, yes, 100%, but as a zone cover guy, no, not where he needs to be. It's going to get weirder. Consistency needs to continue to develop proper tackling techniques. Who's that kind of sound like for you? Who's that sound like for you at OSU?
Well, number one, I don't like hearing that about any player, especially a linebacker.
But this was Carl Banks, who was 3rd overall in the 84 draft. But some of the strengths you might have missed. Some of the strengths for Carl Banks: prototypical size and length, tall, long arm defender, ideal for setting the edge and playing sideline to sideline football. That's Sonny right there. Explosiveness, excellent first step and close. This is Carl Banks in 84. Excellent first step and closing speed. Who does that sound like? Sounds like same guy.
Right.
First, I like this part. This is Carl Banks. Played multiple linebacker roles. Projected as a perfect 3-4 outside linebacker. I mean, honestly, where do we want to put Sonny? And Denard Wilson wants to play what?
The 3-4.
He wants to play 3-4. Run defense ability. Carl Banks, physical at the point of attack, strong edge setter. Now, I don't know if Sonny's a strong edge setter, but he is explosive and he is physical at the point of attack.
He is.
Now, Carl Banks elevated his level against top competition in the Big Ten. Now, I got to remember, back in '84, the Big Ten was a conference. It's not like it's not a conference now, but the Big Ten was a conference. It was a place to be.
Right.
Now, what you are an Ohio State fan. What would you say Sonny did against more top-tiered competition?
I mean, he played well, probably not as dominant, obviously, as lesser competition. But it wasn't like he disappeared when the bright lights came on, which is always something you don't want to see. But the tough thing with the Ohio State is we only probably had a couple games this year against elite talent.
Right.
Of course, the Indiana game, maybe the Texas game in the beginning.
How'd that Indiana game work out? I forget.
Well, again, Indiana has a lot of good players, on there, but that was a slugfest, and they out physicaled us. They, one of the few times I could say that as a Buckeye fan. Interesting to watch, but Styles didn't diminish. He didn't disappear when the bright lights came on. I can say that, and he didn't cower away from the top talent or challenge. He was very dominant, but again, most of our games, like I just said, it was a lot of Furmans. No disrespect, sorry. We definitely played a few Furmans out there.
Now, I want to play a game with you because I knew you were coming on. So we're going to play a game. We're going to play the who does Sonny Styles look like? I'll remind you of. Okay. So we're gonna go down. Does Sonny look like this, or does Sonny look like this?
Oh no, he definitely has the more Micah stature.
He has more of the Micah stature.
Yeah.
Which is what is going to be necessarily needed if we are going to bring this guy in to be an edge setter and to be, because like I said, I don't have a problem with Denard Wilson going 3-4. My problem is you go 3-4, you need a nose tackle, you need two defensive ends that can play both the rush and set the edge. You almost need, like we had in 2011, you had Matthias Kiwanuka and JPP, who both had 80 plus tackles and also had sacks. Well, JPP more sacks than Matthias. And then you need three solid linebackers. When we were at our best, as our Giant fans, when we were at our best, it was Carson, Banks, Taylor, and Reasons. And even before that, it was Bradley Van Pelt, Brian Kelly, Harry Carson, Lawrence Taylor back in 79. When Lawrence Taylor came in, they first made, and they not 79, 81, when they first made the playoffs in the first time in as long as you could possibly remember. Yo, we got JW all the way from Vietnam. Should I do it, James? I don't know if my voice can handle it. Should I do it? Good morning, Vietnam. Sorry, I can't do it. My voice is shot to shit.
Yeah, no, you definitely fighting something there, brother.
I'm fighting the good fight. James, I do have to say right off the bat, your artwork has gotten better.
Oh, it is. Thank you. You know, we try here.
You're starting to learn to color a little bit more into the lines.
This is vintage, as the kids say today. This is retro. This is vintage.
This is vintage. Crunch Bunch, baby. There we go. We got the Crunch Bunch right behind me. That was the original Crunch Bunch. That was Brian Kelly, Bradley Van Pelt, Lawrence Taylor, and Harry Carson. We got the autograph Crunch Bunch behind me. I think it was bad that I almost had to take all this shit down.
Why?
Because I was not going to be a Giant fan anymore. Remember?
Oh, well, you weren't going to take all that stuff.
I was. I started.
What? No, wait. That's too much work put into that to arrange that as beautifully as it is arranged.
That's what the wife said. So that's too much work. But getting back to the Carl Banks, Sonny Styles. Now, listen, I'm not saying that Sonny Styles is going to be Carl Banks. But I'm saying if you take a look at his college snapshot and you look at the way Carl Banks came out of college, they are very eerily similar players. Now, the Giants defense is not what it was in 84. Because 84 was the turnaround, and we had so many good players. But you do have a team that, if you take a look at these guys, you know, some people think, and I don't agree with this, some people say that Sonny Styles is more of a hybrid safety / linebacker. They call him an overhang. I always love the phrase, the scouts, the overhang defender.
A safety? No, he's not that. A safety hybrid line? No, he's not.
No, some scouts in the beginning of the year had Sonny Styles as a deep safety, box defender, nickel linebacker, and hybrid edge presence, which is kind of weird because I don't see. I mean, I didn't see all the Ohio State games, but I'm not going to say he's a traditional linebacker, but at 6'4", 235. And Carl Banks was 6'4", 235. Just saying anything. Not just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there. He seems to me to be the perfect, and the way he has the traditional side, he's a sideline to sideline player, Sonny is.
Yes.
And like I said,
yes, that he is.
Both of them are physical against the run. I would say that Sonny has a little bit more explosiveness on the downhill tackle going into the line. And like I said, he's not a bigger body than Carl was, but he is a guy that knows how to play in space with the defenders. He doesn't get we've talked about this a million times. He doesn't get lost in the sauce. No,
and that's what I was saying before when you asked about how did he team against when we played the tougher games on our schedule. You know, it's a great way to put it. He didn't get lost in the sauce. He didn't cower when the lights were on. You know, I like using colorful language, but at the same time, when you throw out things like hybrid, uh, safety linebacker, set the edge, physical, like it's like okay, you're basically saying he's a mutant. He can do everything. Okay, you know, which again, Sonny Styles is physical. He's explosive. He can play sideline to sideline. He's good in coverage, like I said, more so man to man than zone. But again, that can be taught with proper coaching and the right attitude on the player. But we don't need to overextend and say, well, we could throw him. I remember a play real quick. I'm trying to remember the game, but Chase Blackburn got caught in coverage, and I think he was downfield, like covering one of a wide receiver. I'm trying to remember who it was, if it was the Patriots, and he made a play, and it was great. But it's like I don't need to see my linebackers caught out there on an island. It's going to happen, but it doesn't necessarily mean well he can. We could put Sonny Styles on CeeDee Lamb. And he could cover him going like no. You know.
Come on, don't fucking kill me here. don't fucking kill
I'm
me.
just saying that's what people you'll have fans thinking, well, he's a hybrid. It means he can do anything. Land, water, sea, you know, you come from a Marine family, he can do anything. You know.
You improvise, you overcome. Yeah, okay. Oh, we gotta give the Big Funky Town a big thanks for giving out the 5 online Big Blue memberships. I have to tell you a story, James, offline, that I love when Big Don gives out the memberships, because then you see who's hidden in the chat. Then you see who is watching the show consistently, but not really, you know, not being prevalent in the chat. So I'm not going to say what content creator was Bad Dog, but evidently someone was in the chat, Bad Dog, in the chat, and is now an OG member. But he never.
He's now in Bad Dog's an OG member.
Mm-hmm.
That's hilarious.
Well, because there were some other content creators that were in the chat that hide in the chat, and I love Big Dog. He drops those memberships, man, and then I go and look. And I see who the members are, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, hey, man, shout out Bad Dog. Welcome to Sunday service. Welcome to the church.
There you go. You know what? Sometimes you need to come in and hear the truth. T. Brad says, give me Caleb Downs and call it a day. 4 safeties in 50 years out of 250 picks in the top 5. 4 were safeties. 2 of them had pedestrian careers. 2 of them were very good safeties. 1 a Hall of Famer.
So that's not a horrible average. Just saying.
4 out of 250. I don't.
But 2 out of the 4. But 2 out of the 50. 2 out of the 4 were really good.
That is a Met batting average. 4 out of 250.
Unfortunately, I am a Mets fan. So.
I know, that's why you would know that, even though we have a new hitting. They're not called hitting coaches anymore. I forget what he's called. I forget what
called whiffing coaches.
Yeah, well, you know what?
On our team.
We got a new hitting coach, so we're good. We're good. But I can't take a guy. I don't even think Caleb Downs is 6 feet. Because
it's one of those Allen Iverson things.
Yes. He is listed at 6 feet, 200 pounds. I don't see it.
That
I literally do not see that.
He's a little taller than me, 6 feet.
I mean that's because, like I said, we all know, we all know college measurements. But I'm not, and they're saying he's 200 pounds. I don't know if he's even 200 pounds. And how we talk about putting Sonny Styles in the, in a position where he is going to have to, play the run and be an in the box, almost safety type linebacker. But I just don't see the size of this kid. And he
plays above his size though.
Yeah. Oh, good. Oh, that's good. That's good, man.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but
that was dropping knowledge. He plays above his size. And there are so many short safeties in this league. There's one. But this kid does not look like he's over 200 pounds. Now, are they counting him 6 feet with the hair?
Well, with the hair, he's 200 pounds with the pads on, you know, fully geared up, cleats. You know.
Yeah, I'll just leave Caleb Downs in the middle so he can just be part of the conversation. I really
Well,
love
that's good. I mean, I say this. I like the demeanor. You see that? I like I said, he plays above his size.
He plays.
He is an impact player.
The hair. Is that what you're telling me?
Oh yeah.
Now, and I'm not picking on T-Brad, but I've seen people say like, "Well, I want to put him in the box." Sonny Styles, not Sonny, excuse me, Caleb Downs. I want him to be a linebacker. I want him to be a corner. I mean, now we got to remember this way, guys. You got to think about this. This is why the NFL logic says you don't take a safety in the top 10. On defense, you have 4 tiers. You have the defensive line, you have the linebackers, and you have the corners, and then you have your safeties. So Caleb Downs is a 4th tier player. In some regards, he is the oh shit player that I used to like to refer to. That if something goes incredibly wrong in the first 3 tiers, you are the last line of defense.
Oh, he's the last goalie on the line.
He is the oh shit, everything's fucking gone wrong type player. But people want to take him and remove his versatility by putting him in the box, quasi linebacker Logan Ryan Peppers from the Patrick Graham days. Because Patrick Graham had Logan Ryan and Peppers in the box like 75% of the time because they were slash linebackers. We didn't have any linebackers. So I'm going to take a guy that maybe he's not Sam Mills. He's not 5'3", but he is a guy that you are then going to take in the pros because the pros that's a different game. It's a different beast. Everyone's tall in the pros.
Yes.
And you want to take away his versatility as a 4th tier defender, use him in the box and as a corner. That doesn't make sense to me.
No, I mean, he can do that on occasion. He can come down and play in the box. You know, he can do that, but he needs to be more primarily out there like a homing missile out there in the secondary, like you said. Like he needs to be out there, like roaming around. Yeah,
Ed Reed.
Yes, Ed Reed.
For the old folks, or Ronnie Lott, a Ken Easley.
You know, even who's it? Even Bob Sanders on the Colts. You know, somebody back there. You know, just to light somebody up. You know, like we haven't had that. We haven't had. I mean, we've had decent. Did you really
bring up Bob Sanders?
I mean, I'm just saying. You know, he just popped in my head. My boy, he's a Colts fan. We was talking about that the other night. But impactful. That's what I'm just saying. Like, you can have an impact like a Bob Sanders. We've actually had not horrible luck here with safeties over, if I stretch it out, like 20 years. You know, like we have had a couple of hits here.
Yeah.
You know, oddly enough. You know, but I mean, some guys we let go.
Those hits, though, in the later rounds.
Yes, that is true. Not really a first round top 10. I don't think we've.
And he was in the second round.
He was second round.
McKinney was second round. Julian Love was like what, 5th round?
He was way later.
Landon Collins was in the second round.
Early second.
Montrell Roll. He came over.
Trade.
Kenny Phillips. Was Kenny Phillips a first rounder?
I was gonna say, what was Kenny? Kenny was late first, middle first.
I think Kenny was end of first round.
Okay.
You had Stevie Brown. People forget about Stevie Brown. Had one year in 2012 and then fell off the fucking planet, but he wasn't even drafted.
Yeah. But he did that 1 year was pretty. Like you said, for an undrafted player, it was pretty amazing. I remember Stevie Brown. Wow, good call out.
Oh, you know what else you want to call out? What about what people forget about him all the time? Jabril Wilson.
Oh, Jabril.
He wasn't a first round.
Super Bowl champ.
Now I will laugh. Terry Kennard. He was taken in 83 for the Giants. Venerable safety for that 86 and 90 team. 2-time Pro Bowler. He was a top 10 pick.
He was?
Yes. Terry Kennard was a top 10 pick.
All right, but 2-time Pro Bowler, played on 2 Super Bowl teams, starter.
Landon Collins was a second-round pick.
Early second, though.
Early second. You know, it's funny. You got people forget that that Tom Landry played for the Giants as a safety.
Oh, you're digging in the crates now.
No, I'm sorry. One of my father's favorite players, who was later in the draft, was and Giant legend is Carl Spider Lockhart. He was taken.
Remember that? I've heard that name.
He was taken later in the draft, and Mr. One of your favorite players starts with an E, ends with a T, like you're going into a tunnel.
Oh, Emlyn.
Mm-hmm. He was probably, I would consider him to be the best Giant safety in history. And you know what you forget? People forget the likes of Greg Jackson. Greg Jackson, I think he was late, third or fourth, was a big part of that 90 team in reference to the safety position. And people forget Percy Elworth. He was another guy. I don't even think Percy was drafted. So most of our safeties that had a huge impact for the New York Giants weren't even taken in the first round.
No, we had a good eye for talent, during those years. But like I said, we've been lucky with the safety position, as you just ran off there. Like we've hit on some. Again, everybody's not going to be Ed Reed or Palomalu, but if you're a starter, if you're a consistent player, if you're impactful, it's like that's okay too. And like everybody's not going to be Odell Beckham. Amani Toomer is good too. Would you say?
Neither Ed Reed or Troy Polamalu were taken in the top 10.
Top 10, yes, I know. But
I'm just proving my point. Just proving my point. That's what I do here, man. That's my job.
Yes, I know. But sometimes the talent, when it's there, like Caleb Downs, his talent is kind of warranting a top pick, in this year's draft.
I can't. You reached at 3 last year. You should have traded out of 3 last year, the Giants. You reached.
But that's not reach. That's not on Downs, though. That's on us.
No. But I'm saying this. Can you really buck 50 years of NFL history? We're at a 250 picks in the first 5 in 50 years. 4 safeties were drafted, and only 2 became something. Now, if you're a Met, that's you're hitting 500. But we're not a Met, and this guy's in my mind is a little bit undersized.
I mean, he is a little undersized. That's it. It's just we don't have to dispel any rumors on that.
We drafted an undersized edge defender with 1 year experience at the defensive end position after 2 years of failure, and we can call it that, as an off the ball linebacker. And now and this is why I don't think that John Harbaugh is going to do it. And now we're going to reach again for a safety at 5 when we need, in the first 3 levels of our defense, we need so many things, and we want to get a 4th level defender. And you want to take that 4th level defender and people want to move him into the box. So why not just take a fucking linebacker?
Well, the moving into the box thing, I don't know where that's coming from. I didn't hear that. But if that's true, forget that. But we have so many holes that no matter what level you look at it, 1 through 4, as you broke it down, we have holes on every level. I mean, our secondary, for as long as I've been watching this team, our secondary is probably one of the worst secondaries I've ever seen as a Giants fan last year. Just some of the plays we gave up, just when we needed to get a stop, we couldn't. Just the big plays we gave up, the lack of impact and threat. So there is an argument for going against the grain. And the fact that we also have new coaches in here, new scouts, a new set of eyes. This is not the same old regime coming in here looking at look, it's Kayvon Thibodeau and Evan Neal. These are the best guys. Everybody's saying, let's just take them. I think if we are looking at Downs, it's because we do legitimately think he's worth, despite what history says, he is worth it at this pick. And we do have a need for an impact player in our secondary, a real impact player. Yes, we need it on the linebacking core, especially if we're going to do a 3-4. But I'm just saying there is an argument for taking Downs in this year's draft for us.
But can you, to your point, and actually Jason Sehorn was mainly a corner. He because it was one of the anomalies of having a white corner in the NFL. He did play some safety, but he was mainly a corner. What's up, Trenton? Trenton's going to be heading out to church soon. But to your point, James, you cannot run a 3-4 without linebackers.
Yes, that
you literally, yes. You literally, because out of the 11 positions on that defense, you don't have any linebackers.
Well, yes, so, that is the unfortunate truth.
I mean, so because if we take a look right now, this is what I love telling people. Take a look right now. You got Bobby Okereke. You got Chris.
Talk about undersized.
You got Chris Board, Neville Hewitt, Schwartz Bozeman, Micah McFadden, who's not under contract, Darius Muasau, Dimitri Flanagan Flowers, Zany Barnes. These are your true linebackers. Out of all those names, which one of those could start for a top 10 to 15 defense? Don't say Zany Barnes.
I mean, honestly, if you're being real, probably none of them.
Exactly.
You know, I was really wanted to go through and think here, you know, but you're probably stretching.
Take your time. You can go ahead and think. I don't mind.
You know, I mean, no disrespect. Neville Hewitt sounds like a Harry Potter character. So,
you probably a character.
You know, no disrespect. But our linebacker core for a long time has lacked intimidation factor. You know,
Garrett says it best here. Linebacker needs help the most easily. Yeah. Linebacker, this team who has basically ignored the linebacker position, even going back to Jerry Reese. You could talk about how he took Williams and Brandon Short and all these other guys that played roles, you know, in the 2007, 2011 Giants, but then faded out of existence in the NFL after a very short period of time. But we've neglected our linebackers since Jerry Reese. And every year we could have had Josh Allen, not the quarterback, the linebacker out of Kentucky. You could have had Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons was sitting there.
The Micah Parsons thing is inexcusable, honestly.
Sitting there daring you to fucking take him. And we were like, nah, we're good. We don't need that fucking guy. And I love it because he had all these people kept saying that Micah Parsons was a bad guy, that he was immature and all this. But all you heard out of Penn State that year, because he just had a kid, his last year at Penn State, about how much he had matured during that season and how he was all of his coaches came out and said he was a different person after he had the kid.
Well, again, football is a violent sport. It's a gladiator sport. When you get to the professional level, it's grown men on the verge of trying to kill you, injure you, without trying to kill you, you know, technically speaking. But I am trying to kill you. So sure. I say all that to say we don't want a James Pierce type and hopefully that young brother gets himself together. But you don't want a kid or a guy that's going to go crazy like that, or like my man was in the program, the linebacker who was on the steroids. But you do kind of want a guy who's on the edge a little bit, or who can play within that world of crazy, but I can bring it back. Like we need that. We haven't had that, you know? So, and we don't need the fake version of that, the bravado version. We you know, and Micah Parsons, for all the trouble he was in, I didn't see him on the 6 o'clock news like some people in the NFL throughout history. So, you know, nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. Nobody in the chat is perfect. You know, nobody in the NFL is perfect. But there's nothing wrong with taking a guy that's a little bit edgier than a guy who's just going to sit there and play piano all day. No disrespect, Andrew Thomas.
I'm actually perfect.
Huh?
I'm actually perfect. Just want to throw that out there.
You're perfect. Well, your hair is perfect.
My mom says I am.
Oh, yes, that's true. Shout out to mom. Yes.
Mom says that I'm perfect. So. And I love this comment because I was thinking about greatest white cornerbacks in the NFL. And I was thinking some of the names. And I was like,
corner?
Cooper might be right now one of the greatest white cornerbacks in the NFL history.
I was going to say corner. That's fine.
Unless you go into like the 40s, 50s, and 60s and parts of the 70s before integration. So unless you get away from that, yeah, he's probably right now one of the best white cornerbacks.
Yeah, if we're just talking about straight corner, because we know John Lynch as far as just playing in the secondary. Huh? I know. No, I know. But I'd have to think about that. Hold on. We can't We can't brush over that too fast. Let's take 30 seconds.
No. I thought about Seahorn.
No. Not even our man Jay. Like, and I get it, Jason, but no. Pleasant company accepted. No. I know there's somebody else out there. I'd have to take like a minute or two myself to think greatest white corner of all time.
Riley Moss over with the Broncos.
Okay, Riley Moss.
He's playing now.
I know. But I'm thinking there has to be somebody from like the early 2000s.
Yeah, no, I can't, honestly. If I go to the early 2000s, the only thing I come up with is Jason Seahorn.
That's the only one? Even like the 90s? No?
You had that guy, and I can't think of his name. Roger something. And he played for Washington. No, he played. Didn't he play? No, he played for the Cardinals. He played for the Cardinals, but I can't think of his name. And he was. I just remember him because he went from Missouri, and then he was drafted by the Cardinals in like '69.
Oh wow!
And he was like a 10-time Pro Bowler, 5-time All Pro.
Oh, okay.
He was on the. I can't think of his fucking name. He was on the all. If no, someone could think about it, tell me, because he was on the all-decade team. I remember that from the 70s. But he had like 45 interceptions or 40-something interceptions.
Oh wow!
So, but that's going back to six. I believe he came in the league in '69. It's Roger something.
I was say, damn, we got to go back to civil rights. 69.
He played. And I remember him playing against Phil Simms. That's why I remember him.
Oh, okay.
But I don't remember his last name. It's Roger something. Starts with a W.
Okay.
And I got no.
All right, Trenton, you may have one there.
Trenton might. Who's blowing me up? Trenton might have one there.
You might have one there. Shout out, baby girl. You may have one there.
I'm waiting for Snowmageddon. It hasn't come yet.
I know, right? I don't even want to talk. You know what? Stop talking about it. I don't want. It's like the monster in a horror movie. Like maybe it'll just.
I was waiting to get up and die in the snow, and I look outside and I'm like, "There's no snow."
Well, allegedly, it's supposed to come later, and it's supposed to all drop on us at like later this evening. Allegedly.
Allegedly. Don't forget to hit the like button. We're only at 16 likes. So make sure you're hitting the like button as well there. I'm going to get to the chat in a minute, but I want to talk about Tyler Linderbaum for 1 second. And we got Joe Ferry's. The Linderbaum sounds like a specialty sandwich. That kind of does. I want the number 2 Linderbaum.
I want the Linderbaum with cheese.
People are talking about John Michael Schmidt. And they're talking about his value and how much. Now, this guy has still got a year under his contract, if I'm not mistaken, John Michael Schmidt, because he's got.
I'm pretty sure he does.
I believe he's got one more year on his deal, doesn't he? Because he was a second rounder, wasn't he?
Yes.
So, but people are projecting that they want to bring him back. They want to make sure that John Michael Smith's JMS is back because he is such an improved player. And I'm trying to see, and I'm trying to think where JMS has improved. Now, he played 4 less games this year than he had. I mean, he only played in 13 games. This is a guy that has led the league in penalties for a center his rookie season. Gave up the most sacks by a center his sophomore season. And if he played better last year, but there are certain people that are saying that his contract value, and this is what kills me, is $12 million a year for JMS. Now, people are complaining about giving 20 to a 3-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro, a guy that has improved steadily every year in the Tyler Linderbaum, whose biggest issue coming out of college was the fact that he was not much of a pass blocker. That is for the Pro Football Focus people. His pass blocker rating, his rookie season was 54. It's now like 91. He's always been a great run blocker, but people don't want to pay him $20 million a year, but they want to give 12 to JMS.
Well,
could you just explain that?
I mean, people want to give Wan'Dale Robinson pretty good wide receiver money to stay here. You know, it goes along with the line of the thing that's kind of been our problem here, where we draft guys, and obviously, you know, homegrown, you know, as we call it, homegrown guys, homegrown talent. You want to keep them. You would love to see them grow and mature, turn into Hall of Famers, or at least steadily consistent players. But we just fall in love with the average Joes here, and we overhype them. And loyalty, I get it. You know, I'm a loyal guy, you know, so I do get that part of it. But if you really look at it, look at JMS as a whole, look at him against the whole of the league and us going forward, is he, you know, like how good is he really? How good has he been here really? What impact has he had here really? And based off that, when you give somebody a contract, you're projecting on not just what they did for you in the past, but really what they're going to do for you in the future. And just off the 2 stats you just said, he hasn't improved enough to get away from those 2 horrible stats.
Now, what do you think projected contract value is? I already have the numbers. What do you think the projected contract value is for Wan'Dale Robinson? Now you have for Papa Smith. Now you have to take into consideration, we're also looking at his play, the fact that he was 1,000-yard wide receiver. Yeah. And you have to be comparative to the top slot receivers in the league. So what do you think his projected contract value is?
4 years, $65 million.
Close. Estimated range, 4 years, $70 million, $17.5 million a year. Other projected value is 3 years, 63 of an annual $21 million.
No.
And this is a guy whose former contract, of course, was a 4-year, $8 million contract.
Yeah, no, that we can't. If he can get that somewhere,
I say let him go.
More power to him. But you need to do with Wan'Dale what you did with Saquon. Go out there, find your worth. Go see what your worth is. Come back to me. I won't match it, but just go out there and find your worth. Because $70 million, $65 million for Papa Smurf. Again, he's homegrown. He's been here through the tough times, the down times.
They've all been tough except about one season.
But if you really look at Papa Smurf going forward, you know, what he's done for us and what we hope he can do for us going forward, you can't pay that money for him.
Better or worse, Wan'Dale Robinson? Top slot receivers in the league. You got the Puka. I call them the Puka shells over in LA with the Rams. Better or
Oh,
worse?
come on. Stop
Better or
it.
worse?
Puka's better than him drunk in the street.
You got JSN over in Seattle.
Stop it. Super Bowl.
Better or worse?
Offensive. Was it offensive? Whatever of the year.
Yep.
Yeah, worse.
Okay. You have Ross St. Brown over with the Lions.
Oh no, I'm on the Egyptian black assassin. No.
You have Drake London over in Atlanta.
Drake Iceman. No.
You have, and this is a guy that I love, and a lot of people don't know who he is. It's Parker Washington over in Jacksonville.
Oh no.
Yeah, and like I said, these are the guys that are some of the top slot guys in the league. And we want to give Wan'Dale Robinson money so he could be the Puka Shell or JSN or Ross St. Brown or Drake London. He's not even on the same level. Puka had 1,700 yards and 10 touchdowns. JSN had 1,793 and 10. Ra had 1,411. Drake London on a bad year with a quarterback in flux still had 919 yards and 7 touchdowns. If you take a look, Wan'Dale Robinson only had 600 yards in the true slot position. People are going to say his 92 receptions are the most by a slot wide receiver, but you have guys that have less receptions that have 1,700 yards, 1,793 yards, 1,400 yards, and more touchdowns.
You also have to look at where he's catching these balls. A lot of these balls are within 10 yards, maybe under 15 yards, and they're not going far. And again, just to put, I hate to keep beating a dead horse, but that horse is dead. It's glue. His 2 best games were with Russell Wilson.
Yep, Dallas.
And the Black Preacher.
Jameis Winston.
His 2 best games. His best game with Jackson Dart came in a game that the other team wasn't trying to win in the Raiders.
And like I said, he has 400 yards in 3 games, 600 yards in 13 games for an average of 48.8 yards per game. And his average yards per catch, his average yard per catch, which means where he catches the ball on the field, is under 5. Last year it was 3.6. The year before it was 4 yards, and the other year before it was 4.4 yards. Oh, I'm sorry, it's 4.2. He was 4.2. So that means he's catching the ball 4.2 yards off the line of scrimmage on average for his 90 receptions. I can't give someone $17 million to do that.
Why would you?
Because
it doesn't make sense.
Hold
on. Let me just get some more coffee real quick, brother.
Yeah, go ahead, because we're going to say the U.S. clinches the men's Olympic gold. The Giants win the pennant. Oh, I'm sorry. James is going to go get coffee. The U.S. team, USA, has won the gold in the Olympics. I think Mike Lee said it best. This isn't the 80 team. This is what you call this is a bunch of professionals playing against each other. I have no excitement for that game. Let's get to some of these in the chat because I've been seeing a lot of these. Hardcore says, Tim, I love how I converted you to Sonny Styles at 5. This makes me ecstatic. You're very welcome. The Crunch Bunch, baby. We already got to the Big Don dropping in the super chats. We love not super chats, dropping in the gifts for that. Can't fill holes this year. Unfortunately, AJ is right. We cannot fill every hole this year.
That's what she said.
But we can start. And that's a great comment, James, as you're coming back. I'm gonna wait for James to come back. As the USA wins the gold medal. It's a bunch of what you call it. Totally off topic, though. Totally off topic. ESPN, they are taking off Sunday Night Baseball.
What?
Yes, and is now going to be Sunday Night Women's Sports.
Women's sports?
I'm not lying. And the WNBA, they're in the contract negotiation. I love it because the players wanted 28 point something % of the revenue. They want like a $45 million salary cap. They want the WNBA to pay for all the lodging for the players. And the league came out and said, if we did this, we would lose hundreds of millions of dollars. We would no longer be a league. And I love the players in the WNBA because they're like, well, we don't care. We want what's ours. We want our fair share. It's like, well, we're going to lose hundreds of millions of dollars. The league's going to fold. I don't get it. I'm sorry. I was just reading an article about the negotiations. I'm like,
that's if Sunday Night Baseball. That's no, you can't lose that.
Now it's going to be Women's Sports Sunday.
No, you can't do that.
Women's college basketball is subsidized in most universities by football, because football is the big moneymaker. Subsidized. And still, teams that are perennial national champions, women's basketball, still lose between $5 to $10 million a year from their athletic department in vis-a-vis women's sports.
Wow. And I watch more college women's basketball than pros.
Yeah, but they still lose money. But I just want to just talk about that for a second because I thought that was crazy. I was just reading an article because you left and I just wanted to read an article. Joe says he will become Vernon Golston. If you say it, don't do it. I don't think Sonny Styles is anywhere near Vernon Golston. I can't even put those two in the same stratosphere. What about you?
I don't think. I mean, I can understand why you feel that way, Big Joe. Shout out to Joe and everybody in the chat. But no, Sonny is a more driven player, has a better motor than Vernon Golston, and he's just going to have more of an impact than Vernon. I don't know what heights he can, I'm not ready to say what exactly, he can be at his top potential yet, but it's definitely far above Vernon Golston.
Now, Vernon Golston, of course, was an OSU guy.
I know.
Just throwing it out there, and he did have 14 sacks his last season over in college, but I don't see him as a Vernon Golston type guy. Sonny Styles.
Yeah, no.
I don't even see them comparable as the same type of player.
Sonny's more, what do you call it, more of a hybrid. He could do more than a Vernon,
Oh, see, Jack came in, has taken Canada to OT for the goal. Yeah, but we already won. USA. Let's see here. Bad Dog got his Durant file on Tim.
The Durant file.
I love it now because Kevin Durant, evidently, people forget, had the burner account on Twitter, and he used it to bash his teammates and his organization.
Get off my Dickerson.
Yeah, and I love it because now they're saying he's back to his old tricks up in Houston in reference to having a burner account again. Oh my God. I love it. Joe Ferry says, too funny. Other content creators trying to be stealthy, but get busted for coming to the dark side. I give all the credit in the world to Big Don, because I think it's amazing. Because like I said, because I go back to see who became members when Don drops the thing. And I was just like, I know that name. Why is that name in the chat not saying anything?
Yeah, but that's not new reconnaissance information. We've been new that there were.
I know that, but this was verified. This was because people always say, it's a
verification.
People always are saying you're just being conspiracy and this and that. Well, no, this is actual. This is actual knowledge. Let's see here. Downs has been run over a lot of times. He's not 6 feet. Don't draft him. Yeah, I just get leery.
Listen, he gets ran over because he's trying to make the play, though. He's in position. I'll say that. It's better than some of our other guys who are trying to get ran over because they're not even in position.
Well, wait a minute. So we're we're excited about him. That would be some giant logic.
It would be, right?
Because I was thinking about it. Antonio Winfield. Winfield. In Tampa. He's like 5'8", 5'9".
Yeah, he's pretty small.
That guy Reed in Seattle. I think he's
okay.
I think he's 5'8". What's his name? The Honey Badger with the Saints. He's like 5'9", 5'10". And the Ravens have that guy Washington who's like 5'8".
Oh yeah, forgot about him.
There are, and I love it because Bobby McClain, who was with the Giants for a little bit, he's 5'9". But I love it though because that's it. There are some good names on this list, but that's 3 out of 64 because you have 2 safeties on most teams. So you have 3 really good safeties out of 64 that are under 5'9", 5'9" and under. So again, the average looking at it is not there.
No, but it's not something that has not happened and is not present in today's game. So it's not like you're really drafting like a unicorn thing here where it's impossible that you can take this kid and he'll actually have an impact, you know?
Would you say 3 out of 64 is rare?
Of course.
If you had a 64 series of Pokemon cards and they only made 3 of one certain card, that's would be considered a rare card. Or a rare.
Listen, your probability of hitting on a safety is still higher than your probability of getting bit by a shark. Aha.
Well, the problem is I don't live anywhere a shark could bite me. My probability goes up if I go into the ocean. So the probability of him being a failure downs increases if I draft him and put him in the secondary.
Well, let me ask you this also. Do you not have, for as much as the hoopla we've made about Harbaugh, not us here, but just in the community in general, if we really believe in Harbaugh and the coaches and the team he's assembling, then even if we draft a guy like Downs, we'd have to trust in the plan, and we'd have to trust that these coaches can get the best out of a player like that who may be undersized, but in Denard's system, along with the other players he drafts, this player may be exactly what he needs.
Listen, if Harbaugh goes with Downs at 5, I'm going to live with it because of the fact that people are going to talk about Ed Reed and everyone else and blah, 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 blah. I already know that. I'm going to live with that. But as a football purist, I'll be, as a fan, I'll be fine with it. But as a football purist, I'm probably not going to be happy about it.
That's fair.
Because to me, it doesn't make sense.
You'll be skeptical.
I will, and I don't even know skeptical. I don't even know.
I messed that up. That was on me.
No, I don't even know if that's a good word because I'm going to try. Like I said, I'm trusting the process here. I hate using that cliche. I hate using that. I'm trusting the process here. I'm trusting that Harbaugh is coming in with a plan. Now, what I do not want to hear is the fact that we took a safety and it was Joe Shane's idea.
Whoa.
That I don't want to hear at all. I don't even want to think about that, but that I don't want to hear.
So you'd rather take Tate? If you had a choice, Tate or Downs, that's it. It's uno a dos. Who would you?
I'd rather take a wide receiver or a safety.
Yes, if they're in the brain trust and they're down to these 2 guys, they're just either Tate or Downs.
I'm going to take Tate.
Okay.
He's an impact player at 5. We've talked about this before. Jerry Oslowski, when he was on, even said it. In the top 5, you need to draft immediate impact players.
Yes.
People are telling me, and you hear the pundits telling you also, that we are going to take Downs at 6 feet, under 6 feet, move him in the box, slide him out at corner at times. We're going to use his versatility. Now, we had a guy that we traded for that was Mr. Jackknife Versatility from the Cardinals. We're not going to say who. That was a massive failure. And he was more of an athletic style linebacker, size-wise, than Caleb Downs. It's the same thing with Abdul Carter. I kept telling people with Abdul Carter, if you used him as a situational pass rusher, I think he could have got 10 or 11 sacks. I kept telling people over and over again, you play him more than 75% of the snaps, he'll probably have like 3-4 sacks. Because of the fact that he was not an impact pick at 3. Tate, to me, and I don't want a wide receiver at 5, but Tate to me would make more sense than Downs, because Tate to me would have an immediate impact with Malik Neighbors and Jackson Dart. And I don't think Downs, a 4-tier player, a 4th-level tier player, in reference to a defense. And people that miss this, tier 1 is your defensive line, tier 2 is your linebackers, tier 3 is your corners, tier 4 is your safety. I'm taking a 4-tier player over a guy that is a potential first-tier wide receiver. He could be my 1B to Malik Neighbors' 1A.
The only real pushback I could see to not taking Downs, honestly, is the fact that Wilson does want to do a 3-4, and in that you do need linebackers. We have no linebackers, and it is a position we've neglected for decades, to say the least here. So that would be the only thing I could say about.
If we go through 3-4, are you comfortable with Dexter Lawrence being the nose tackle in the 3-4 defense?
I'm not totally against it. I'm not like, oh my God, it's gonna.
Oh, that's a very dramatic long pause. That's a very long caesur.
Because I'm thinking
for a player who's supposed to be one of our best players, if not the best player on the team.
True, but I also wanted to give it its proper thought, where I'm not looking at what somebody has done in the past. I'm more so thinking about what can you do for us going forward. And I do still believe. Go ahead.
3-4 defensive lineman, which is also referred to as a nose tackle, is a different assignment than a two defensive tackle set in a 4-3. You need to anchor the middle. We've talked about this before. Jim Burt, Venerable Giant, number 64. In less games than Dexter Lawrence, he has twice as many tackles because he played in a true 3-4. He also has 20-something sacks in less games to Dexter Lawrence's 30. My theory is this, then. Jim Burt then should have his 64 number retired, and he should be in the Ring of Honor. Because he has better stats in less time with the Giants and less games played than Dexter Lawrence does. Now, a true 3-4 nose tackle has to anchor the point of attack and has to be that presence in that middle to either push into the pile and prevent the running back or quarterback, whomever, getting into the second level. Can Dexter Lawrence do that?
I do believe he can do that. Now, okay. For how long? I do it for 17. I do believe he can do that. Again, I do believe Dexter Lawrence had his worst career year last year, just from a lot of different angles. I don't know. I'll say some of it was injury. I'll say also some of it was, I think he just got to a point where he's like, the season's over. I'm not killing myself out here. But I do think he's going to bounce back. I do think he has another few good years left in him. And I do think he can play the nose tackle position, in this defense for us.
Now, I'm going to give you some stats.
Okay.
And you tell me if this is a run stopping defensive tackle or even if this is a run stopping nose tackle. You have a guy that had, we're going to start with 53 tackles, 32 solo, 21 assists. 44 tackles, where 23 were solo and only 21 assists. 31 tackles, where 14 were solo and 17 were assists. Is that a guy leading the point of attack from the defense?
That's a lot of assists. No, that's a lot of assists.
That's Dexter Lawrence the last 3 years. Dexter Lawrence, if you take a look at his record, has 341 tackles. How many out of 341, how many solo tackles do you think he has?
Out of 341?
341.
220.
This is our star defensive player that is a game changer. Out of 341 tackles, solo 185 to 156 assists.
I do think with a better cast around him, though, I do think he will up his play.
So
better.
I would consider Dalvin Tomlinson and Dexter Lawrence to be better around him, right? A better cast?
Yeah.
Okay. 38 combined tackles, 53 and 54. 24 solo, 14 assists, 30 solo, 23 assists, 27 solo, 27 assists, and that's with King of the Almost Sack and Dalvin Tomlinson.
That's with Dalvin and Leonard Williams?
Yes. Excuse me. Yes.
That could be a case. I mean, the numbers are the numbers. Numbers don't lie. But also during those years, like everything is not numbers driven. Sometimes you have to see the game, see how it goes. I mean, Dalvin Tomlinson. I definitely miss Dalvin Tomlinson. He was kind of what you needed. He was that gritty, ugly down there, in the mud, clogging up the middle. I definitely missed when we let him go. And Leonard Williams obviously proved he's proven over the last couple of seasons that we probably should have kept him too. But I think Dexter Lawrence because he has been our best player before Brian Burns got in here, and rightfully so. He deserves the criticism. When Carl Banks got on him, he deserved that. As you pointed things out, he deserves that. But I also think he's been in kind of a bad situation where there's not been a great supporting cast around him, and to whom much is given, much is required. If you are the best Giant on the defensive side, then we do ask a lot of you, and he does have to step it up this upcoming year. But he hasn't had a lot of great help around him, either. Just to play devil's advocate.
I'm going to ask it again. Ask this again. Outside of one season with Dominic Sue, who was Dexter? Who was the running mate for Aaron Donald?
Oh, well, I mean, come on. I'm not, but see,
people want to.
No, but hold on. But hold on.
But I'm saying people want to compare him to Aaron Donald. Who was
okay, good.
Your running mate.
I did not utter the name Donald or Aaron out of my mouth during my whole.
I'm asking you because you're an astute football fan.
Yes, but we can't. It's kind of like the Wan'Dale Robinson, even with the Jackson and Jingba. Like, we can't compare that to Puka. Like, we can't do that. Like Dexter Lawrence is a very good player. He's a very good player. He is not Aaron Donald. He's not. You've pointed that out before, which you shouldn't have had to point that out before.
You know what's scary?
What?
King of the Almost Sack
is more Aaron Donald than Dexter Lawrence.
The last couple of years, he's had better numbers,
and he's been more impactful.
He has. But Leonard Williams also has had a better cast around him. He has.
But then some might say, because we got to play devil's advocate here. Some might say having a better cast around you can sometimes hinder your production because there are more people to make the tackles. There are more people doing their jobs. This is a guy in the last 2 seasons in Seattle has had 260. How many do you have? 100. What do you have here? 126 tackles and 18 sacks in Leonard Williams.
Listen, king of the almost sack. I was actually shocked when I looked at some of his numbers, And again, proof is in the pudding. He's a Super Bowl champ.
Right.
They had the best defense in the league, when you look at it pound for pound last year. So numbers don't lie. They can be looked at a little funny without context, but numbers don't lie. And he has had better numbers statistically the last couple of seasons than our boy, And again, Dexter Lawrence does fall under that umbrella as well, as I was talking before with the Wandells and other players, where he's homegrown and we kind of overvalue our own homegrown guys here. But Dexter is at the top of that. He is a good player. He has been effective. He is impactful, just not to the degree as some other content creators or fans would say. But he's not washed, And it's not a thing of, we can't depend on this guy at all. I do think
the last 5 years, where have the Giants ranked in reference to defense stopping the run?
We're probably the bottom 3.
And who's been our starting defensive tackle the last 5 years?
Dexter Lawrence.
When in 2022, when Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams both went out, the Giants' defense against the run, the yards per average actually dropped a yard. And this is with DJ Davidson, and I can't remember who the other one guy was, but this is when DJ Davidson came in. They're stopping the run. They are a yard less or a yard better than they were with Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams in the middle of the field.
That is true. But again, I think that a good portion of that also, you have to put that on the coaching staff. We have had some lame coaches here that have allowed complacency and laziness to kind of fester in this team, in this building.
You played football in high school.
Yes.
Correct. The defensive line position, especially the defensive tackle position. If someone running back, of course, is splitting the guard in the center and going at the defensive tackle, what does scheme and coaching have to do with him stopping the ball carrier or slowing down the ball carrier?
No, that is within you. That comes from within you. You have to have the heart and the drive to want to stick your face and your body in there and make the play. No, that's number one. But what I'm referring to is the fact of, if we have a guy like a Dexter Lawrence who is capable of playing better than he has shown, I don't think the coaches here have kind of gotten the best out of him or pushed him enough to hold him to be more consistent.
The content creators that Andre Patterson, Daniil Hunter, he was a genius as a defensive line coach.
Well,
I had to hear this for years. So you're telling me now they were wrong?
I'll say this. I'm not astute in my knowledge on the back coaches and every single person on the roster and in the building. Right. I don't know janitor Bob who cleans the toilets. And sometimes here again, and I know it's fan base driven, and you got to talk about things, and sometimes we have fun here, and I know other creators do too. But I, as a fan who's been a fan for 30 plus years, we really don't know everything we think we know. And honestly, there's been so many guys in the front office and on this coaching staff that have been let go in the past 12 months that they couldn't have been that good. And again, numbers show what was our numbers when these coaches were here? What was our stats? Where did we rank in the league? It wasn't that good. So the players have to play. The players have to play. You have to hold yourself accountable. The other players should hold other players accountable too, even before the coaches. But I do think, as much as we've made the hoopla about Harbaugh, and rightfully so. John Harbaugh was at the Knicks game last night. I
And they
text
won.
you.
Big
But
cat.
I do also, and they did pull that out of the depths of Uranus. But
Dunk.
I,
Game-changing dunk.
I do think that, I do think that having coaches there to hold you accountable, Abdul Carter, to motivate you, keep you on schedule, and to not let you slack off is also a big part of it, especially on the professional level, because these guys are all making money. So you need something else to come in there and keep these guys motivated or keep them on their toes.
This is a good question by Mr. Peace here. Of course, and thank you for the super chat. All super chats go to the Philadelphia Children's Hospital, where I'm going to fucking end up if I don't get over this cold. Good morning, fellas. Brian Burns' success relying on Dexter Lawrence? No. They're even to Carl Banks's point, and even Dexter didn't like it. Show me on the tape where there are the double teams anymore. Dexter Lawrence is not being double teamed anymar. You can go back.
Not as much as he was, yeah.
You can go, not as much. I would probably say 60 to 70% less than he had been in the past.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's being blocked at times man on man with the center. And I know Dexter didn't like it because Dexter was like, well, look at the tape. Well, a lot of people did look at the tape. And a lot of people saw the fact that you were being straight up pass blocked, or you're being straight up blocked by the center. So no, if anything, Brian Burns' success, especially as an outside defensive end, you want to watch a player that got double. And like I said, I was never a Brian Burns fan because I think he is a player that is sporadic, can be brilliant at times, and I mean brilliant, but then he can disappear for extended periods of times, extended parts of the game. This year, he came through. You take a look at Brian Burns' best seasons. That one season in Carolina, there was like 6-7 games where he didn't have a sack. It was his best season, but he wasn't consistent. This year, Brian Burns was more consistent, but he still went times where he didn't. He went 4 games between the Commanders and the Packers where he didn't have a sack. But he became more consistent through the season, and he also had, I think, 4 or 5 2-sack games. But the problem is this: it wasn't because of Dexter Lawrence. It was because of the fact that if you want to see where the double teams went, they went against Agent Zero. They went against Spider-Man.
Yeah.
If anything, to the point that we brought up earlier, and to kind of the point that Peace is bringing up here, if Brian Burns is being double teamed,
that's what she said.
There should be one-on-one straight up pass blocking for Abdul Carter and Dexter Lawrence. So their seasons should have been better because of the focus being on Brian Burns.
Yes, no, that's, and that's probably the most detrimental thing you can say about Dexter Lawrence last year. You can look at his play based against his own play in past seasons, and obviously he had a bad year, like I said before, his worst season. But the fact that, yes, Brian Burns had such a standout year where there was a point where him and Myles Garrett were not that far off.
No.
He wasn't that far behind Myles Garrett as far as for the sack leader. And he did have some other plays. I think he forced a fumble or two or recovered a fumble or two, so he did have a very impactful year. And obviously most of the attention was on him. So the other guys, Kayvon included in that group, should have had, and I know he got hurt, so he was out most of the year, second half, Kayvon. But
that's why I didn't put him in.
Right. I did want to point that out. I don't want to dump on him, and he wasn't there.
That's
but
why
he is a ghost.
That's why I didn't bring him up.
Well, ghosts aren't usually there anyway, so he did what he's supposed to do. But the other guys should have had more impactful years. Again, I just think Dexter Lawrence, he had one of those years that he's human. These guys are athletes. He wasn't at the top of his game, last year, but I do think with new coaches, new outlook, more accountability, I think he will bounce back. But yes, that is a horrible stat that Brian Burns was garnering so much attention and still being impactful, even though he did have some games where obviously, with the offense paying more attention to him.
4 games where he didn't do anything.
Okay, and again, some of those games could be because the offensive scheme is just trying to focus on him, but to keep him out of the play. But even with all that, he was still able to overcome and have the great season he did. So yes, that is a horrible, probably the most detrimental thing, like I said to start, about Dexter Lawrence season, that if this guy on this line with you, and again, like to Mateo's point, but Burns was good before he got here. I was shocked by Brian Burns too. I did not know too much about him. I did not think he was going to be as good as he has been. But, Brian Burns, God bless Joe Shane's best friend for offering that deal. That's been the best thing, though, Joe Shane has done, and this is 10-year here. So hopefully Dexter Lawrence I do believe he will rather bounce back next year. And I do think having the other guys step up, more so Kayvon and a Carter, will help Dexter Lawrence, and as well as getting some better linebackers behind him.
Don't forget, people, hit the like button. We need to at least get up to 35. I haven't been saying hit the like button. I wanted to get to this one because this is probably one of my favorite handles on from the show.
Yes, hon. More Hot Pockets. Right away, hon.
Tim, can you please let mediocre content creators? OBJ is washed up and we do not need him. I'm sick and tired of hearing his name associated with the Giants. I didn't even know OBJ was still even being associated with the Giants, to be honest.
I think that's just the content creators stoking a dead ember. I don't think that has any real legs to it at all.
Well, the problem is OBJ doesn't have any real legs left either. Hey-o. Sorry.
No. And again, OBJ, as great as he was, again, just how much real winning did we do with him here when he was here at his best?
When he wasn't dropping the ball in the end zone in Green Bay during the playoffs?
And again, the biggest game of his Giants career was not the one-handed loop-de-loop Dallas Cowboy catch game that we lost.
I would say
we lost. His biggest game here was the playoff game that he did not show up for. So again, he was a great talent and he was great while he was here, but he's another one of those guys that when you look at it, we kind of overvalue what he really brought to the team. Because again, he trashed our quarterback.
He did. I love it though, because he did an interview, OBJ, the other day, talking about how $110 million contract
is not enough.
Because, he was like, well, $110 million, 30-40% of that, $40 million of that goes to the agent and taxes. So it's really only $60 million. And then that's really only like 12 and a half a year. And people think, well, 12 and a half million a year over 5 is going to set you up for life. I was like, motherfucker, that's like $60 million in 5 years. Maybe you don't spend it like a drunken sailor. And maybe you have an understanding that that money train's going to run out one day. You're no longer going to be able to play. That's why so many players go broke 3 years after their career is over, because of the fact that they never think the money's going to end. I think OBJ is finding out the hard way that the money's ending, or the money ended.
I think there's going to be a lot of ESPN is going to have to do another.
Oh, and they did
called
the bankrupt players. Yeah, broke.
Bankrupt or broke something.
Yeah.
They're going to have to do another rendition of that, because there's going to be a few players, Zion Williamson, if he's not careful, that while you're playing, sure, but everybody does not everybody's not Eli and Peyton, that they can generate funds from doing so many different things, and they have so many sponsors and all this, and have Omaha Productions, and no. So you have to be very careful with your money. But $60 million, come on, athletes! $60
million after taxes over 5, and I just love the way he was breaking it down.
Come on.
And then he's like, well, and then he's breaking it down. Well, you have to have retirement and investments and showing off money. Well, maybe don't spend as much on the showing off part.
Listen, $60 million, you could blow 15 of that and still be good.
Yeah.
Literally blow 15 of that in Vegas and
And honestly, you could live off you just in a regular interest bearing savings account, you could live off the interest for $45 million.
Yes, I think social media. I was just talking with Rachel about how, as good as it is, and think that it's just a lot of negative where it doesn't show the true. Like even with Giants content, you'll watch a highlight factor on Cordell Flott, a highlight reel or a short by somebody, and you'll think, oh my God, Cordell Flott's Corey Webster. This guy's he's amazing. He's you know, oh my God, and it's like no, you know, like don't fall for it.
I just love it. Absolutely shouldn't pay Wandell. I'm not even going to read the rest because you're 100% right.
Yeah, where it would like the Wandell thing here is crazy. Even the Wandell factor, like we're going to talk about this a lot, even though we shouldn't. But that's why are we so keen on keeping? You know what our best bet is? Our best bet is hoping that my boy Slayton remembers how to catch and actually lives up to that contract next year. Neighbors gets healthy, we draft another wide receiver, and then we move forward. Keeping Wandell here, overpaying him with a Slayton who hasn't lived up to that money so far, and then hoping Neighbors like that's not a good plan. That's not the plan. You know, like you got to just hope Slayton remembers how to catch. That's honestly a better bet than saying
he hasn't done it in 6 years.
Guess what? Hey, we dug this. We made this bet ourselves. That's a better bet for next year than overpaying for Papa Smurf.
Joe Shane shit this bet.
He did, but he's still here. He's still washing the sheets.
I listen, I'm not denying that. JR says Chris and Bad Dog are fans, right or wrong. They say a lot of what fans think, but they don't have to have reporter jobs or NFL jobs for a reason.
But do they really say what a lot of fans think, or just that section of fans think?
I think that segment, like they always say, we're a cult. But
I guess there's different.
I always think that we're not a cult. We're rational, intelligent football fans that understand football. I used to listen way back when I started. I used to listen to Chris's show, and I think I did it for like a day because I couldn't take it. I was like, this motherfucker doesn't know football. And at times, Bad Dog is not using football knowledge to the point he's using fan knowledge. He's using fan speak. It's like, okay, you're not really addressing the football aspect of it. So I don't think so. Maybe to your point, maybe what they're saying is right or wrong. Some of the fans do think that way because of the fact that certain fans are just Giant fans. They don't know football. They don't know football. And not in a bad way. I'm not saying it like they don't know football, that they don't know what a first down is. They don't know. They know the basics of football, but when you get into the nuances, the actual physicality of football, the actual dynamics of football, my thing is, and I've said this before, the only true way that you know football is if you played it. And played it at a higher level. Don't have to be in the pros. You can play it in college because we have a lot of people in the chat that played in college. And you understand the differences in reference to, you know, different nuances of the game. You're not just saying, well, he didn't get that sack because he missed. Well, no, there could be other reasons why. So, and I think to JR's point, I think maybe he's just saying, yeah, you know, they think that because they're more just Giant fans than they are astute football fans.
That's probably the best way to break that down, honestly. And to be fair about it without being too much of jerks, you know, because I was going to say something completely Snowpiercer. But you know, before I even do that, but to be serious, that's a great way. That's a great way to break that down on a fair level, because I don't think a lot of real Giant fans, when you watch those channels, it's just they're not saying real things. You know, they're just saying emotional things to garner a reaction. And that's unfortunately what a lot of the world is today and what a lot of social media is. But I think that's also because what you just said, that a lot of the people who watch that, either from ignorance from lack of knowledge, lack of experience, watching football, being around it, playing it, or just being young. They don't know. Or, others just don't care. And they just want the hoopla, the cheerleading factor, I knew the Daniel Jones years here showed me a lot. It showed me a lot. It kind of showed me who knows real football, who cares about real football, and who just wants to ring cowbells and shake pom poms.
I think it's funny because, and like I said, you listen to more shows than I do because I don't really listen.
I do.
But early on when I first started, I listened to people, and I always love it because they were like, "Well, they're running a gap defense, and, he's in the A gap or he's in the C gap," and it's almost like, okay, what's the A gap? You and I know that's the space between the center and the guard. What's the B gap? That's the space between the guard and the tackle. C gap is the space between the tackle and the end. D gap is the outside of the tight end. And then you would ask them, and I've seen this before, because I always want to ask these questions. I want to say to people, okay, what is the purpose of a gap defense? It's basically to just ensure that every available running lane is accounted for. That's basically what a gap defense is. And each defender owns their gap and must pay. We talked about this with Giants all the time. We use this word all the time. They must maintain their position, maintain their discipline, maintain their gap assignment. There's a 1 gap, there's a 2 gap. But you ask these, I listen to some of these people talk about this, and they're like, and I'm like, you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. It's like, I don't even understand that you understand what a gap assignment is, let alone that you're preaching to your fan base. Well, this is the gap. They're running a gap. Okay, explain it to me. Explain it. And I think I kind of explained it in basic terms. I don't think I got crazy. Like the nose tackle, Dexter Lawrence would be an A gap player. Because of the fact that why? Because we just said what an A gap is. And your linebacker would correspond with the left A gap off the nose tackle. But I never hear this from any other content creators. I just hear, well, this guy is great. It's like Abdul Carter. I've said it before a million times. How many times did he hold his gap assignment? Or how many times was he out of position? No, but we want to talk about his speed and rare potential and ability when he got pushed out of the play over and over again. I don't know. Maybe I'm taking it the wrong way.
No. It's just make it simple, like you said. That was a nice, easy breaking down gap assignments. Like that's a lot of people probably don't even know that, And the thing with the Carter thing, not to get too complex, because I'm not going that deep on certain things, breaking down film, doing all that's insane. But when you watch the Super Bowl, Leonard Williams, Julian Love, former Giants, and that defense, the pressure that they were putting on Drake May, I don't really recall seeing Carter apply that kind of pressure during the course of the season against opposing quarterbacks, where it's, well, he has the most amount of pressure. And I'm like, I've watched the games. Yep. With Heineken, Coors Light, Hennessy, whiskey, right. Maker's Mark, various things, Brugal. But when I'm watching the games, I don't see the quarterback looking that flustered by Carter's pressures. So even when people go, his pressure, is he impacting the game? Does the other quarterback care that he's that close? Is he even bothering the jersey follicle on the quarterbacks? Like it's very simple to see sometimes. We don't have to go crazy and do all these astronomical things. It just sometimes I sit here, like I love when people they break down the film on the wide receiver route and they show where the wide receivers go. And they go, this guy ran the wrong way. How do you know he ran the wrong way? Do you know what the play was in the huddle?
Do you know what the route tree was?
How do you know he wasn't maybe supposed to? Maybe the wide receiver was supposed to read the safety and then based off that make a change, and he didn't make the right change.
Right.
I don't know.
Abdul Carter played in 79% of the snaps defensively. When Kayvon Thibodeau went down, his snap count increased exponentially. But somehow this guy only had 4 sacks and 7 tackles for a loss. And I kept hearing about how he was penetrating the line. Well, if you're penetrating the line, how do you only have 7 tackles for a loss as a starting defensive end alongside Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence, who are probably gaining and garnering the most attention in reference to the pass rush?
I think that guy, honestly, he scares me. There's a few things I'm nervous about. I'm really nervous about him because you're going to know real fast with him.
What he is.
We're going to know real fast with him. Like we talk about a lot of things here with, obviously, Dart has to improve and getting Scatterville and Neighbors healthy and draft and all of this. But this guy Carter that we spent the top pick on, who is supposed to be the next Micah Parsons, we're going to, within the first 4 games. I'll give him four games.
5 or 6.
5 or 6. You're going to know.
It's a quarter of the season.
You're going to know. Because honestly, based off the season he had last year, based off all of the stuff around him, based off some of the attention he brought on himself with wanting certain jersey numbers, and based off the fact that we have a new coaching staff here, new coordinators here, none of that old slop is going to fly. If this kid comes out and he's pedestrian in September, October, that's not going to be a good sign.
That's not going to be a good look. Let's hit the like button. Let's get up to 40 likes. Dex Dark Simi says Dex is going to have to be a rotational nose tackle. I agree because I like this next comment. Mike Lee, I can't see Dexter tying up 2 people on a consistent basis. And when you run a 3-4, you are in charge of the A gap and technically the B gap, because you're going up against you're going up technically a man short on your defensive rotation because you're only putting 3 defensive linemen. So can you see Dexter consistently maintaining 2 players? I mean, I remember Jim Burt doing it. I'm old. Eric Howard doing it back in the 80s and the 90s. We haven't really run a true 3-4 since 90 something.
I was gonna say 90s.
Yeah, I mean we've run base 3-4s and hybrid 3-4s, but we haven't run at 86 and from 83. So I'd say about 93, we ran a true 3-4.
The Dexter Lawrence thing, and again, it was Mike Lee. Obviously, he's a veteran; he knows what he's talking about. And the other comment was very on point as well. But we're not asking. It's not like we haven't seen Dexter Lawrence garner double teams or take up that space. He has done it before. This is not like we're asking him to be in a position he hasn't been or do. He has done it before. Now, has he done it lately? No. Has he done it consistently? No, he has not. And that's all valid to your point and everybody. But he has done it. So can he do it? Yes, he can. I do believe he can.
Well, I believe I can fly.
Have you ever flown before, though?
I believe I can touch the sky.
You had a gummy?
No.
Oh.
No. 41 likes. Let's get up to 45 likes. Sonny Styles, he's a hit, man. I like Sonny Styles now at 5. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I like the name, Sonny Styles here in New York. I like that.
Well, you know who we also are.
Styles makes fights. Oh,
Jacob Rodriguez.
He's just old school.
Just for the stash alone, I want Jacob Rodriguez. I don't care if he can play. We need some.
Yeah, but he actually looks like he can play.
We need some character on this team.
No, we do.
And that mustache has its own character.
We need real character here, not made up character. We need character that soon as he walks in the building and you see him, he's carrying his bag, you know that stash means business.
Listen, when this guy walked into the building, everyone knew we meant business.
Listen, we're going to turn it around now, okay? Because the guys in this room, we got to turn it around. It's on us, okay? It's on us, guys. I'm not going to let you fail. His motivational speeches during the Hard Knocks was like,
listen, I curse a lot. And it just comes naturally. That's just who I am. I mean, if everyone that knows me, I curse a lot. When he was cursing in the meetings, I was like, this is the most uncomfortable thing I've ever seen. Because you could tell he's not a guy that drops the F-bomb.
No.
And I'm looking at it, I'm just like, this is uncomfortable to watch. Because it's like, this is not his character.
No.
But he's just trying to be the tough guy.
No. Everybody is not a leader of men. Some people are not even a leader of children. We go leader of men. Can you lead? Will some women follow you? Will some children follow you? Never mind the men.
I wish Carl Banks was our defense coordinator. Carl Banks doesn't want to coach.
No.
Carl Banks came on the show and talked about that. He had been offered opportunities to be a coach and he turned them down.
If Carl Banks said what he said about the defense and Dexter Lawrence publicly, where he has to be somewhat held back, imagine what he would say to them in a locker room when nobody's around. You think their feelings were hurt then?
Abdul Carter is doing what the coaches told him to do. Yes, Abdul Carter's job was to rush the passer. And he had 4 sacks in 17 games. And played in almost 80% of the snaps.
I was going to say that's a tricky statement because I like the way you did. That's a trick.
I don't think they said, "Hey, listen, only get 4 sacks and 7 tackles for loss." That's it.
I don't think they said, "Hey, rush the quarterback," but if he runs that way, don't stop turning your legs. You could chase him that way. You could follow the play. It may come back around.
When he got outrun by the Duck in that Charger game, Abdul Carter, and this was earlier in the season, I said, "Uh-oh." Like, uh-oh, this this isn't good. And I watched Dak Prescott outrun Abdul Carter. And I'm like, and these aren't the 2 most fleet of foot quarterbacks.
The fleet of foot, Dakota.
Just putting it nice. They're not Eli Manning, but they're not Mike Vick. They're not Jackson Dart. But they ran away. Just ran. And I remember the Dak play. And it was like you saw Abdul coming in and Dak just did this. And I'm watching it and I'm like, this isn't good.
Well, it's like it's like,
where'd he go? Hollywood said, where'd who go?
That is such an appropriate. You have to keep that forever.
Oh, I have that.
I need that on a shirt.
I have that.
Like that is. We had too many guys that would happen to too much on this team, and to what's his name? Dark Simi. To your point, Tim, about when I was talking about Dexter Lawrence, and you brought up a good point that it's not on the coaches to motivate you to want to be great. So the same thing is applied to Carter, where yes, the coaches could call a play and say, hey, your job is to run through this gap and attack the quarterback here or attack the play here. But it's on you on how you're actually going to attack that play, finish through the gap, and actually finish the play. How many times did he get there when he actually got there and didn't finish the play? Yeah. I mean, he had a quarterback on the sideline and couldn't even push him out. So
we forget about that.
I don't forget about that. You don't forget about that.
No, Jarrett, I don't see what's wrong with Abdul Carter. He is a lean, mean machine. Look at that build, man. Look
That's
at that.
Not even that is crazy.
Sorry, that's Micah Parsons. Look at that build, man.
You're coming fresh off the draft, off the assembly line. You should be in tip. You're coming fresh out of the combine. You should be in tip-top shape. That's the most healthiest you're going to be in your NFL career.
Yep.
Probably your rookie season, depending on what happened in college.
Yep. I mean, he needs to. Yeah. Mr. Taz, 100 million is crazy. 100 million to complain. That's only if they don't trade Kayvon Thibodeau. I love it because I don't remember who it was. Someone sent me a clip for a content creator, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we're going to get a second-round pick in this for Kayvon Thibodeau." And then I love it because then some ESPN and a couple NFL sports reporters came out and said, "Well, if the Giants get a fourth or a fifth for Kayvon, that would probably be a lot." People are like, don't understand. There's no value right now for Kayvon Thibodeau. He's on the final year of his deal. He'll be an unrestricted free agent next year. He's going to make 12.5 guaranteed this year. He's coming off a season with an injury, and he's only had one good season out of 4. And if you actually look at that one good season, he had 6 of those sacks, of those 11.5 sacks in 3 games. And then the rest of the time, he fucking disappeared. The time was to trade him last year when you could, before he got hurt, and sell the team. Listen, I'm going to give you a year and a half with this guy because we picked up the 5th year. So you're going to get a season and a half with this guy. You're going to be able to decide what he is. And like I said last year, you may have gotten a 2 or a 3 for Kayvon last year before he got hurt because you could have sold the team. Listen, he's only making we didn't know he was going to make 12.5 because those numbers didn't come out, but he was going to make anywhere between 12.5 and 14. So you could sell a team. Listen, he's going to only cost you max 14 million. You're going to get him for a season and a half, and you may be getting a premier edge rusher. You can't do that now. He's coming off an injury. He's coming off another down season. He's got the 12.5 guaranteed, and he's an unrestricted free agent. What team is going to say, I'm going to give you a 1 and a 2 for that?
I look at it like if we were not Giants fans, and let's say we were a team like Chicago, Buffalo, Baltimore, Detroit, and we had the money, and we needed to add because we're trying to make a run. We're trying to, and we wanted to add a premier defensive player, somebody who can rush the quarterback and stop the run. Would Kayvon Thibodeau be the first, second, or even third name that pop into your head? Probably not.
No, not even close.
Probably not.
Romeo Doubs. I love Romeo Doubs. I think they should have traded for him when he was on the block last season. Same with Quay Walker. Now both are unrestricted free agents, so you still have an opportunity again, but you're going to pay more for him. I don't like the Guardian helmet. I call it the pussy cap. I don't like it. And honestly, if you wore a helmet and put a pillow on your head and then continuously still ran your head into a wall, how much of a difference is that pillow really going to make?
I think it's more so obviously for the people watching that it looks like it's more added protection than what it really is. It's more so for the viewer to make it feel like if you were watching in the Roman Coliseum, like, oh, well, his arm got chopped off, but it's okay. It's going to clot right away.
People forget that helmets nowadays have bladders in them. And if you ever noticed players with the bellows on the top of their head and they're squeezing like this, because they're filling the bladders. They're filling the cushion, the air. Helmets back in our day just basically had styrofoam. I mean, I would call it wasn't styrofoam, but I would call it styrofoam. No, I didn't wear a fucking leather helmet. But you would just have the styrofoam. Now they have these helmets, and they make these helmets, and they're basically fitted to your head. The best part was in like high school, you wore number 20, you got the number 20 helmet. No matter if it fit. But that's the helmet you got.
Tighten your chin strap.
I was gonna say take it up one buckle.
No, the other button. Yeah, there you go. Wrap that. That.
That's what you were supposed to do. So helmets are so different now. And like I said, I don't know what the data is for the Guardian cap, but I don't know.
I mean, listen, if it helps the players and they feel better, if it gives them a psychological, better feel of running over the middle, then hey.
Ernest Gray and Johnny Perkins, man. Ernest Gray with his 1,000-yard season back in '83. Johnny Perkins was such I believe '84 was such an underrated wide receiver on so many bad teams. I actually remember those two players. I remember Ernest Gray very well, actually. Hit the gap, says Big L. That's what she said. We already said that. Big Nichols. Good morning, Tim Online, Big Blue Family. This recent coaching staffing hire will eventually have us contenders again, even without Dexter Lawrence. Said this before. You got to trade Dex. You got to trade Kayvon Thibodeau. You got to trade Dexter Lawrence. And we never really got to get into the video from the live stream the other day when I wanted to talk about the tough decisions that John Harbaugh is going to have to make. And it's not really going to be tough for him because he has no attachment. It's going to be more tough for the certain fans if Dexter Lawrence is gone and Kayvon Thibodeau is gone and Wando Robinson's gone. That's going to be more, but you have lost with these players for the last 5 years. Maybe it's not all the coaching. Maybe it's the people that we have in reference to personnel on the roster.
Well, we purged some of the front office and the coaching staff. The next step is the field.
Yeah.
So again, you know what's funny? I had this thing here from when we went to the game with our significant others. And you know what's funny?
Oh, that
you look at this pamphlet, right?
Yeah.
And you look at these guys here and rookie class. And what if I told you after 2 years, what if Harbaugh just think about getting rid of some of these guys? Because I didn't draft them.
Yeah.
These weren't my picks. I have no allegiance to them, and they're not doing what I need them to do.
These aren't my failures.
What if most of those guys are gone? You're going to have most of this fan base going, oh, I can't believe he's doing that guy is a fan favorite, and oh, my God, he's been here since the Civil War. Well, maybe it's time for him to go.
Well, if he had been there since the Civil War, I do think it's time for him to go. He would be a little.
I'm just saying, we just because something has been around for a long time every tradition doesn't have to stay. Every stalwart, every homegrown potato doesn't have to. It's okay.
I love this one, Tim. I haven't caught you live since the last blizzard. Keep up the good work. I love it because someone sent me a meme. And it's this guy, and he's looking out on his green lawn, and he's crying because it's like I haven't seen my lawn in a month, and I see it for one day, and then the next day we get another blizzard. So, but I don't know what the weather's like. I haven't seen that.
Did you wait before? And I have to ask this on camera. Did you talk to your boy
about
what? You know who I'm talking? The weather.
Oh, yes. I am going to have to talk to you about that off camera. I'm going to talk to you about that off camera because I got charts.
Okay. Excuse me?
I got charts.
Oh, you got charts now? Yes.
Weather maps. So I will talk to you about that off camera. That is something I will talk to you about off camera. That's not on camera.
Okay.
You know what is on camera? Yeah, I forgot all about it, and I never forget about it because they are not forgettable. It's
FanDuel,
the mighty FanDuel. James knows FanDuel.com. James, what's the number one sports book in America?
FanDuel.com.
New customers bet $5, get $100 in bonus bets if you win. So if you go make a $5 bet and you win, you get $100 in bonus bets. How awesome is that? I didn't bet on the Olympics. I should have bet on the Olympics. FanDuel,
shout out to the women's hockey team. Beat Canada for the gold.
So did the men's team.
And the men's today, this morning, or last night?
No, this morning. I didn't even know there was a women's hockey team. But we can't get into that because we got to talk about the mighty FanDuel. They have the sports book.
FanDuel.
They have fantasy games. They have everything you need. We got to start talking about the NBA. Choose your reward. You can get either of the following rewards: 1 BPT to use on any 3-leg parlay wager, or 2 25% off BPTs to any wager for any NBA game on February 22nd, 2026. It's the mighty FanDuel. It's FanDuel.com. go download the sportsbook, go download the app, go download all of it. I have to admit, like I said, I do enjoy the casino games on FanDuel. I do like them. And they have the exclusive Huff and Puff game, which is new. And I like this game that it's called All Gronk, All Gold, which is kind of fun. And I also like playing this game called Gold Express because they got all these trains that go by. But you go to the Mighty FanDuel, put in your 3-leg parlay, because I learned from that betting guy that came on the show, you don't want to do more than the 3 to 4-leg parlay. So if we go to the sport book right now, let's do Cleveland at OKC. Let's build a parlay. Cleveland right now is 4.5-point underdogs to OKC. I think that's not a big nut. I don't think that's a big number. I think I'm going to take the Thunder.
I was going to say, too many people are high on Cleveland after the Harden trade.
Yeah, I like Darius Garland better than Cleveland. But I'm going to take this, and we're going to build our parlay here with the Thunder. And I'm going to say, let's see here. I'm going to go with first basket, James. Who got first basket on the OKC game? OKC, what's called game? Cleveland game. Who
Holmgren.
You're going to do Chet?
I like the Chet, man.
All right, we're going to put Chet in that parlay. So we're going to say he's going to be the first basket. So here we go. We're going to put Chet in the parlay here. All right, we're going to do, let's see. We got Chet. I'm going to go Donovan Mitchell plus 25 points. What do you think?
I like that.
Okay, I'm going to put Donovan Mitchell for plus 25. And then I'm going to get saucy here. I'm going to do this 4-leg parlay. I'm going to do plus 35, and I'm putting in Harden.
Oh.
So we're taking the Thunder, Chet with the first basket, Donovan Mitchell 25 plus, Harden 35 plus. If we put in a $50 wager, wow. Okay, well, I'm going to put this parlay right now. If we put in a $50 wager, we'll win $38,307.94. I guess that plus 35 really put me in the
Oh, my God.
Cash out is plus 26,615. That's one hell of a parlay.
I guess they're saying Harden's going to have a return to OKC moment.
That's what I was thinking. That's why I'm going to give him plus 35.
Okay.
That's at 110. All right, that's at 110. And I am still one parlay leg away for winning $108,000. All Boston has to do is win the NBA Finals. I won.
Yeah, no, you keep saying that.
I won the
stop saying that.
3 legs of my parlay. They just win, and I get $108,000. I will cancel my parlay if the Knicks come up and give me $108,000. Just throwing that out there. Who's blowing me up here? Dom. Dom is blowing up. What is Dom? Dom's at a birthday party today.
Have some cake.
I know that because he texted me at 6:30 in the morning, because evidently he does not remember the time zone difference. But we love the big Dom. Let's get to the last end of the comments. I'm going to wrap it up here. Chode Sports got pissed about trading Dex even to the Bengals. Mr. Burns, excellent. Was not happy about that. Well, they're a bunch of fucking idiots. No way Harbaugh wants to overpay Tyler Linderbaum. So why wouldn't you overpay Tyler Linderbaum?
I would say, why is that no way? That's his former player. He's had success with him. He probably knows that he's a good locker room guy. He probably needs him to come in here and be a voice in the locker room for him.
And can help mentor your second-year quarterback, who now the league has all this film on and can call out the line shifts, can point out the mic, can help his young quarterback make adjustments.
Oh, wait, Tim, there's this thing. Oh, I forgot. He's actually good.
Yeah, he's a 3-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro.
I don't understand this thing with, like you said, why does the Giant fans, you brought up a good point earlier with, you were so against signing Linderbaum, but you want to pay Papa Smurf.
You want to give Papa Smurf $70 million. You want to give him $70.5 million. I haven't gotten it for years. So I mean,
like I really don't get that.
This is why I truly think certain Giant fans are going to be upset with Harbaugh.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
Harbaugh's going to come in here and he has no connection to these guys and just say, no, I'm done. You guys haven't won in 15 years. You won twice. Yeah, maybe it's not solely the coaching, solely the ownership. Maybe a lot of some of this falls on the players. I don't know.
You know, it's really wild, and it's the last wild thing I'll say, but at least for today.
Is it snowing?
You know, it's crazy. Our fan base here is so crazy that what if after next season, and again, this is total Twilight Zone, but what if Lamar is like, you know what? I want to go back with my old coach. He wasn't the problem. I want to start anew with Harbaugh in New York and da da da. If Lamar wanted to force his way here, you would actually have fans going, well, I'm not giving up on Dart for Lamar just to put him back with the coach that they went to the playoffs almost every year and he won an MVP with or 2 MVPs with. Why, I'm not doing that. What, are you crazy? Are you crazy? I'm giving up on this potential for MVP winner? Why would I do that?
One last thing. We're gonna play a game. And I like this person, but I gotta play this game. You have to tell me, James, who this is.
Who it is? Okay.
Who this is. My first guess when I saw it on X was Spike Lee.
Spike Lee? That looks like Carl.
That is Carl.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was Spike Lee for a second.
That looks like Carl being incognito.
I'm going to allow that because it's Black History Month.
I like the hat though.
I do too. I like the whole outfit. All right, I'm out. I'm tired. I want to go home now. So I'm going to go home now. Don't forget,
you have to prepare for the snow coming.
Don't forget, people, in the near future, we have this new venerable podcast. It is, of course, Rico.
Look at him. Look at him. He looks like Robert De Niro.
I keep telling James we are doing this podcast. I even created the cover for Rico Valor and the Angry Black Man. So,
I really like that cover though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, well, it's because I gave you guns.
I just like because number one, I'm getting more gray in my beard, so that's appropriate.
I took care of that for you.
And then your hair, the way you see, you look like a retired porn star.
I sent that to someone, and they were like, "Yeah, I see that." Because don't you have? And I was laughing because I have a. I always wear the velour tracksuits now, but I have 2 velour sport coats in my closet. And my friend was like, "Do you still have your black velour sports coat?" I'm like, "Yes, I do." He goes, "I see it." He's like, "I see it."
I can see that.
So make sure we stay tuned for that wonderful show, Rico Valor and the Angry Black Man, coming to you live. You got to fix your hair though, because I had to clean up your hair a little bit. So,
oh yeah, I gotta. Well, this is my winter hair because I keep the fro. I don't keep the fro for summer because that's just ridiculous. Yeah. But for winter time, yes.
So we're gonna have to fix. We're gonna have to fix the hair, but it's a podcast, so it doesn't matter what we really look like.
No, listen, man. We're the Black Irish podcast. We got to have the hair looking right.
That's right, man. I got to go get a haircut, and that's what people forget. Don't forget to hit the like button. We're only at 45 likes. I wanted to be 50 when we left. We probably are 50. I don't fucking know.
Colt 45.
Got Billy D up there. I forgot where, but I got the actual Billy D. Last thing, I was a little upset because I was laughing with Tiffany because we were watching this TV show yesterday, and it's about it was this guy from the Hoarder show where people hoard all this shit and they come in and they clean up the house and all that. And this guy from that show got his own show, and they were selling a 4.5 foot Snoop Dogg bobblehead for Corona. And I was dying because I was looking at it and I was like, there was someone on Facebook Marketplace that was selling this thing for like $150. And I was like, and I told the loving wife, I said, I said I should have bought it, and I said I didn't buy it. Then they sold this thing for $650.
Wow.
On the show.
Wow.
She's like, and all of a sudden, as soon as I saw that, I lifted up my laptop and she goes, "You're going on Facebook Marketplace, aren't you?" I was like, "Yes, I'm going to try to see if it's still."
He's like, "No, I'm just checking the weather."
I have my own weatherman, and I'm just checking the weather right now. So.
No, you actually don't.
All right, guys. It has been a fun show. We're 2 hours in. My throat's killing me. I got to go rest for Monday's stream. We got 2 guests coming up next week.
Ooh.
We have a draft expert coming on Friday, so make sure you stay there for Friday's stream. And we're bringing back, this is like Saturday Night Live, where you have multiple hosts that host or come on the show quite a bit. We are bringing back for, I believe, the 4th time. Carl Banks is a 2-time guest. This is going to be a 4th-time guest. We're bringing back the venerable Matt Sims. So this is all going to be next week.
Matt Sims from the Sims clan.
We're bringing Matt Sims back into the house, and then we are going to have a special draft analyst guest. And I guess I could say who it is because it is. Let me just double check that he is confirmed because he's going to be on the live stream on Friday. So let's see here. Let me see. Can I say that he? Well, he's confirmed, but he has not returned my email. But we have a very venerable draft analyst coming up. So, but I'm not going to say anything till I'm just double checking to see if he's confirmed, because then I could say it. But if he hasn't confirmed for Friday, then I'm not going to say it.
And no, kids, it's not Mel Daniel Jones can't miss as a prospect Kuiper.
It is Mel Kuiper. Well, it's actually going to be Ryan Roberts from AZ Sports. I subscribe to AZ Sports, so it's going to be Ryan Roberts. He's been on the show. He's been on AZ Sports and all these other places for years. So he's going to come on Friday live, and we're going to talk about the Giants. We're going to talk about the draft, and I'm just confirming the time for Matt right now. I just sent him a message yesterday, so we'll get a time on that. But that's both going to be next week. So make sure you stay tuned for those.
Okay.
So for James, this is Rico Valor signing off. Till tomorrow. Unless there's Snowmageddon, then it won't matter because we'll all be dead.
Yeah, no, right? I'm telling you, this is it's looking. It's like it's starting to flurry.
Starting to
some flurries.
There's some flurries. I to the weatherman, I sent a picture of the backyard, and I said, "I'm still waiting for Snowmageddon."
Stop, because I don't want to say. Probably, you'll be fine.
All right. Well, we're gonna sign off, and I want to talk to James for a minute. I got to sign off because I got to run upstairs and not shovel snow. So this is Tim. This is brought to you by the Mighty FanDuel. For James, for Tim, this is Rico Valor, and we're out of here.